Hey everyone, good morning. Happy back to school. I don't know if your kids have gone back to school already. We just dropped my son off this morning, my eldest. So that was an interesting experience to see all the kids lined up with their masks on. But anyway, we're going to see how it goes. I wanted to pop on this morning because a few days ago I talked a little bit more about my motherhood journey and how it all started and how I was so overwhelmed, even though I have the background and experience in infant and child development, and how that sort of spurred and stemmed my passion for working with moms and babies. And today I wanted to talk a little bit more about sleep specifically, and how I really had a terrible experience with sleep with my first. It's like I went through it all, right? Sorry for the noise. They're doing construction everywhere, it seems. And anyway, so my firstborn did not sleep, really, hardly at all. I didn't really know anything about overtiredness. I didn't know anything about wake windows. I didn't know anything about the fact that it's normal for babies to want to sleep on you, or that moving naps were okay. I was reading all of the books. I was trying the easy method. I had all these sleep schedules printed out, and they were all different. And I was driving myself crazy. And my husband was like, okay, these are all different. Which one do we follow? And I was like, I don't know. I just need him to sleep. Anyway, so he didn't sleep for more than 2 or 3 hours in any one chunk until he was 8 months old. And he was like the classic, like 20-30 minute napper during the day. And the one that, like, there's no way I could transfer him. He didn't want to sleep in his own bassinet. He only wanted to sleep if I was moving, so in a carrier, or if he was on me. If he was sleeping on my chest, we could get like a 3-hour chunk, which was amazing. But I thought that was wrong. And I would feel so guilty about it, which is just so crazy because, I mean, mom and baby need to rest, right? And I didn't realize that. And I didn't know that because our society doesn't talk about that. Our society talks about how babies should be sleeping on a separate surface, and they, should be sleeping for X number of minutes or whatever at this specific time. And it's just crazy. Like, the sleep training culture has become crazy. And truth be told, now I know better. Now I know that our Western culture actually is the one that causes these sleep issues in quotations, because it's not an issue in other cultures where they really do realize that babies wake up and that they need to be close to mom, and that it's okay to be in the same bed, and that it's all okay to rest and all this stuff. But that's sort of a little bit of a gosh, what am I word finding here? Tangent. So I was exhausted. And so I was exhausted. I used to dread the night, so I would go to bed late because I didn't want to go to sleep, because I didn't want to be frustrated at night and have to wake up every 2 hours. I had it in my head that when it was dark, we were all supposed to be sleeping, and so I would be very frustrated, and there would be times when I would go and get my son and he'd be crying, and I would just be so angry with him, and just frustrated that he was up yet again, and I just wanted to sleep. And then I got help, because I needed help for my own sanity. I needed help for my son. I mean, I'm sure he was really overtired. And I reached out to Lauren at Isla Sleep, and she was so lovely. And we chatted on the phone, and I loved her approach, and she just seemed so friendly and nice. And I knew that her approach to sleep would be the one that I wanted. I told her flat out I didn't want to do any cry it out. I didn't want to just leave my son and not respond. I didn't want any separation-based techniques, but I did want him to sleep more. And I wanted to transition him into his own room. And so we worked together for about 2 to 3 weeks, and let me tell you, it was magical, and I felt like I was supporting him the whole time. I'm not going to say it was easy, because there were definitely nights when it was almost worse before it got better, because we stopped doing a bunch of things. Like, I was done with the rocking and the bouncing for hours and hours, and I didn't want to nurse every single time. Like, he sometimes would wake up every hour, and so we did a lot of things. one of those things was realizing that he was actually a very distracted feeder during the day, and so he likely wasn't actually getting enough breast milk during the day. And we had just started solids, and he was eating fine, but he wasn't really getting all that much nutrition, because really we were just doing lots of exploring and playing with the different textures and foods at that point. And so we wanted to make sure that he was getting enough milk during the day so that he didn't have to make up for it at night. We also got him on a more consistent schedule in terms of naps. So I was really watching kind of wake windows, and we started doing like a, consistent wake up time in the morning, and then there would be 3 kind of naps, sometimes 2. He was in that middle of the kind of 3 to 2 nap transition. And then we were playing around with earlier bedtimes on the days that he had 2 naps. And then one of the big things that really helped was that after we put all those changes in place and we felt comfortable to move on, Lauren really supported me in just making sure that I decided, along with her recommendation, that we knew now that he was getting enough food and that his belly was full and that he didn't need to eat every 1 or 2 hours. And so I put the boundary in place that after I nursed him, a full nursing session both sides, before bed, I wouldn't nurse him again for the next 4 hours unless it had been 4 hours. And he still woke up before 4 hours, and I could do any of the other things. I could do any soothing, I could sing, I could hold him, I could rock with him, whatever I wanted, but I wasn't going to nurse him. And that took maybe 3 days or something. And then he started sleeping for a longer period of time. Over the 2 to 3 weeks, we really went from waking every 2 to 3 hours to sleeping 6 to 8 hours in a row. And I felt like a whole new person. And I felt like my values as a family and what I wanted and what I didn't want were really heard and supported. And I felt like I was respecting my son, and I was supporting him in a very responsive, loving, caring way. And we were still getting more sleep. And so when Lauren, I stayed in touch with Lauren over the years, and when Lauren actually started her Baby Led Sleep certification program, I jumped on it. And I was like, oh man, this is gonna be amazing. I love this approach, and it's going to really help me help the mamas that I work with. And it did. It really changed my life. Not only now I can offer a holistic, attachment-focused, developmentally driven kind of sleep approach and sleep support for families and help them with the biggest pain point in mamahood. But I can also say that approach is so attachment focused, and that really changed the way that I looked at even my OT clients at the time, and also the way that I parent my own children now. And it's all a learning process. But this approach really changed my life, and I love it. And I took the training, and I'm now certified in it. And it really is a holistic way of looking at sleep. We look at nutrition, we look at feeding, we look at whether there's reflux, we look at what development is happening, we look at what's normal for babies at each age. We look at, are they overtired? Are they overstimulated? Are there any sensory processing things going on? There's so much that I have training in that I can now look at and bring to the table when I'm looking at what's going on with sleep. And so I just wanted to jump on here and tell you guys that I've been there. I know where you are, mama. I know you're exhausted. I know you feel helpless and hopeless. I know you just want to get more sleep. And I know that you're at the point where you're like, I will do anything for more sleep. But I want to remind you, and I want to kind of tell you that there are other ways. You don't have to sleep train. You don't have to do cry it out. You don't have to do any separation-based techniques. You don't have to do anything that doesn't feel good for you. I want you to really remember that. There are ways to get more sleep. You can get more sleep in a way that feels good to you. So if you are ever doing any kind of sleep work, regardless of who you end up hiring for support, I want you to make sure that you're asking some hard questions, if that's important to you. But I also want you to make sure that throughout the whole process, you are listening to your heart and your instincts and your values. and that you're not letting anybody tell you anything that goes against what you believe and what you feel to be true for your family. So anyway, so that's my sleep kind of story. And, you know, I just wanted to share a little bit about why I got into the sleep world. And so I do offer one-to-one sleep support. I also have a sleep course that is more of a group coaching support kind of course that I'm currently working on. But the thing that is going to be the quickest for you in terms of quickest and most cost effective, if you're looking for sleep support, but also just, you know, learning about your baby and infant development and attachment and all of the things, my Holistic Mama membership, which started in the summer, will be launching again at the end of September. So stay tuned. It is just a monthly cost. It's super low, $19 a month for this next launch. And I'd love to have you. We've got a really fun group of mamas, and it's like having a parent coach in your back pocket for less than 2 baby classes a month. Anyway, so I wanted to jump on and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my sleep stuff and why I know where you are. I've been there too, and it's hard, but just know that with the right support, you can get through it in a way that feels good for you. So this video is already sort of long, so I'm going to say goodbye. Have a wonderful day. Happy Tuesday. The sun is coming up. I'm going to go enjoy my coffee, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.